Hello and welcome back to the Pirate Podcast. Today I'm here with Mrs. Vessar, the speech and debate coach. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So, speech and debate is all year round, and it's going on right now. And how's the season going so far?
Well, it's going pretty good. It is all year round. We offer the classes, but you don't have to be in the classes to actually be on the team. And our season goes from October until March. And that doesn't include state, which happens in April, and nationals, which happens in May and June. But it's going really good. We're actually headed today, so this weekend, the first weekend of February, to conference. And I know, and then we'll be headed out to districts coming up soon too.
Wow. So is it like districts brings you to state, state brings you to nationals?
No, not exactly. MSHA districts brings us to state because we are a MSHA activity. And then we have NSDA, which is National Speech and Debate Association. That takes us, their districts takes us to nationals.
So you have two districts this season?
Yeah, we actually do two districts and we have two different nationals. But one of them is just based on how your season goes throughout the year, and students can go to that nationals.
Where are they at?
So state is held in Springfield, Missouri, and in April, and then the National Catholic Forensic League, which sounds weird because we're not Catholic, but we are part of that NCFL. That one is held Memorial Day weekend in Louisville, Kentucky. Wow. And nationals for National Speech and Debate Association is actually held in Phoenix, Arizona this year.
Wow. You guys do a lot of traveling then.
We do if we have students compete. Last year we did have Charlotte Hammond, who's a senior this year, went to nationals. And at that point in time, it was actually also held in Louisville, Kentucky, and competed in informative speaking.
Wow. So what topics are normally debated? Like, what's an example of a topic? Because I know they're different every year.
Right. So they're different every year. They're actually different every month for some of the events. So the actual true debate events that we do are Lincoln Douglas, 1 versus 1, Public Forum, 2 versus 2. And currently, like the Lincoln Douglas currently for January, February, are debating about open borders for human migration and the justice that is. And then for the Public Forum, their February topic actually has to do with right to work laws. Then we don't just do debate. Everybody thinks about debate, and we do other things too. For example, like I said, Charlotte did informative speaking, and that's a topic of her choosing. She wrote a speech, 10-minute speech, delivers it without notes throughout the season. She doesn't have to change it. She keeps the same thing. We have persuasive speaking. We also have interpretive events like poetry, prose, storytelling, dramatic.
Wow. So like do they grade her depending on how well the speech is delivered and all that?
Right. Yeah, they look at the organization, the delivery, is it relevant? You don't just want to talk about something that's not relevant to other people, that type of thing.
Yeah. So for those who may not know, do you want to explain how a normal debate would go?
Sure. So the debate itself, the way it normally goes is that you have a pro and a con side. And so a pro side, let's say the pro speaks first, they're going to get up and give their side of the story. So literally they're doing, I know students hate to hear this, but they're doing a CER. They're doing claim, evidence, and reasoning. Typically they have at least 3 or 4 different mini claims that support or don't support the resolution. And then they get cross-examined by the other team. And they do a little bit of rebuttals and a final focus. And in the end, it's a judge that makes a decision. So even if we feel we may have the strongest case overall, did we convince the judge that we have the strongest case?
So do you know then and there if you won or not, or do you figure out later?
So I'm a coach who doesn't tell them if they win right away. I will find out as a coach, but they don't find out from me until the end of the tournament. And you'll go through 4 rounds, and if you win those rounds, then you actually can advance to quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. We've actually got a debate team of Jack Wall and Charlotte Hammond that this year have been placing consistently going into quarterfinals and even have taken a first and a second place trophy home this year.
So do you not tell them so it doesn't so it doesn't hurt, make them less confident going forward?
Exactly, because each judge is different. Each judge's perspective is different. So just because that judge thought you lost doesn't mean that you're going to lose maybe the exact same case with another judge. So I don't do that. And the same thing with the interpretive events or those types of things. I don't tell them, because if I see something glaring, like if the judge says something that they shouldn't be doing, I'm going to correct them, but I'm not going to say where the judge ranked them.
So how do you eliminate personal bias by the judge?
You hope that the judge it's hard to do that. The judges are asked when you come in, whatever you believe, you have to just set aside. And it's really hard. I mean, as I coach students, for example, that are writing speeches or choosing pieces, not on the debate side, but on the forensic side of things, the speech side of things, you've got to think about, is it relevant to everyone? Like, you can't just do something because your friends will think it's funny or your friends will think it's relevant. What about this adult judge? Because in the end, they're the one that decides.
Yeah, that makes sense. What made you want to be a speech and debate coach? Coach, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, coach. That's right. I'm a big theater geek and really like theater. And when I first started teaching, which was 18 years ago, my job included having to be the speech coach. And I kind of got thrown in the fire and had to host a tournament. I had to host our conference tournament my first year as a teacher. Wow. And it was really interesting. And it wasn't here, it was in the center of Missouri. But and it combines things that are public speaking, because I do have a minor in speech communication, so that's there. And then it also combines theatrical stuff. And just the fact that debating in the world is just amazing. So just being able to debate with evidence and reasoning.
I agree. Have you always been good at public speaking?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. When I was in high school, I actually auditioned for a play. And I got a role, a very small role, but I got a role. I got on stage, I was scared to death. And so my high school career, theater-wise, I was always up in the sound and the light booth, and that's what I did. It wasn't until later on that I became more confident.
I bet none of your friends in high school thought you'd be a debate coach, huh?
Probably not. Probably not.
So how much experience do you have in speech and debate?
So this is, like I said, this is my 18th year teaching and coaching. Debate itself, I'll be honest, the debate side of speech and debate, I've only been doing since I've been at Platte County. So this is my third year here at Platte County. But the speech side, the theatrical side of it, I've been doing for 18 years as a teacher, and then in my private life, I do a lot of theater and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so what lessons do you think kids, people in general, have to learn from debate?
I think just confidence in speaking is a big thing. And I mean, we say that our students and our teammates that are on the speech and debate team are doing something that the majority of the world doesn't want to do. I mean, it's the number 2 fear in the world is public speaking. And these kids go out and do it for fun.
Yeah.
And so just learning that, but also the friendships that they make. When we go to a tournament, it's not like you go to a soccer match or a football game or something like that. The other sides don't really talk. I mean, you guys do a little bit on the field maybe, but stuff like that. But like when they're between rounds of speech and debate, they're hanging out at each other's tables and they're making some of their best friends through that.
And like you said, everyone knows someone who's scared of public speaking. And it's compared to other subjects, you use speech, like public speaking is something you can use every day for the rest of your life, and it can bring you really far. So I agree. I think it's an important lesson.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter if you're just planning on working, even if you're just planning on being a car mechanic, which is one of the most important jobs in my opinion, because I can't fix my own car, you still got to talk to someone. So public speaking is anytime you talk to someone.
I've heard of some schools like requiring their students to take a public speaking class or like a debate class. What do you think about that?
So actually, if you go off to college, even if you just go to a tech school like State Tech, you're going to be required to take Public Speaking 101. That's actually a class I teach at the college level, and we're bringing it back to the high school here. So public speaking itself is something that I think everybody should just experience, just because you don't know. I mean, if I needed to go ask my boss for a raise, that's public speaking, and I think a lot of us want to do that in our lives.
Yeah. So you think it'll come to the school?
Well, I don't know that it'll be required, but we do have like the public speaking class that's a half an English credit.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it'll be required, but definitely at the college level it will be. You'll all run into it at college.
Yep.
Don't put it off. Just get it out of the way.
What would you say is like the biggest challenge that people face during a tournament?
I think, well, I kind of wish I could have some of my kids answer this question. I think that the unknown, like going into a room, you're usually in a room, if you're doing debate, then it's just you and the other team. But if you're doing the speech side of things, you're in a room with 6 other people. You watch those other people. You might think you're a certain level, but then where's the judge, and kind of the unknown of where they think, and just that unknown part of it, I think is the hardest part. And having a coach like me and the other coaches that won't tell them until the end.
Yeah. So how do I put this? What do you think is like this, like between like debate, what's the learning curve? If that makes any sense. Like, what's the skill gap between some people? Like, how is that?
So one of my favorite stories to tell is whenever the 8th graders come with their parents to the incoming freshman night, and parents come up and say, my kid needs to be in debate class. They're really good at arguing. Arguing and debating are two different things. Yeah. Arguing tends to be somebody's got to win and who's the loudest, whereas debate is somebody's got to be a loser. There's always going to be a losing side of it. And it's not about the loudness, it's about using your evidence, it's about standing your case and backing it up. So that's the biggest gap.
Yeah. Do you normally have like a kid come and just blow everyone away? Like you would like other sports?
Sometimes I do. I've got some pretty strong competitors right now coming up from the freshman and sophomore class that are going to be pretty amazing if they stick with it throughout their high school career. So absolutely. And I've got kids that have gone off to, we've had state competitors, state level competitors, and we've got obviously national level, but I've got students that are going to college for speech and debate.
And they get scholarships for that?
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, as a matter of fact, signing night the other night, we had a student, April Babowski, is going to Northwest to do forensics.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Is the tournament format, is it like a bracket or is it like a round robin?
So on the debate side, it's a bracket once you get to the quarterfinals, but otherwise it's just a round robin. So yeah, it's kind of random draw of who you get. All
right. So last question, we ask this to most of the people we do. So we always ask about the upcoming Chiefs game, what you think the score will be. Can we get a score prediction?
A score prediction.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, Chiefs. Chiefs are going to win it. And don't look at what the rest of everybody else says. Chiefs are going to win.
They were wrong about the last one.
And well, that's true. They were wrong about the last one. They've been wrong about a lot. They keep making the Chiefs the underdogs. Chiefs are going to win by. Chiefs are going to win by 7 in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Okay. Good prediction. Good prediction. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.